Hi everyone, Nice Daytano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Caroline Polachek record, Pang. This is an album I've been tracking ever since the release of Caroline's single Door, which was dropped this past June, and every song she has teased us with in the lead up to this record has been good or great. What sounds like a futuristic and progressive take on art pop, Pang was shaping up to be one of the more promising albums of the year. And while it was unfortunate to see the demise of Caroline's former band, Chairlift, in 2017, I would like to hear her move on to greener pastures with a solo effort. And that's exactly what Pang is and does. It's pretty hard to deny just how sweet, cleanly produced, and fantastical many songs on this record are. It's like I'm listening to bits of Charlie XCX meets alternative R&B, meets Kate Bush, meets maybe some top 40 music in 2019, and that direction shouldn't be too surprising considering some of the people producing this thing. People like Andrew Wyatt of Mike Snow, as well as A.G. Cook and Danny L. Harl of the PC Music Camp. Together they handle the bulk of the production on this record. The future of pop is here, and it's PC. So I was pretty psyched to try this thing, however I was a little scared by the initial moments of the record, which I don't think are all that great. Not at the quality level of singing and songwriting I was expecting given the singles. The intro cut the gate is very smooth, but it's about as fulfilling as an exchange with a Walmart greeter. It's short, and by the time it's over, I realized I've got nothing out of it. And after this, a few bland cuts like the title track. I like the angular synths that play throughout many passages of this song, but the tone and the energy of this track is just way too subdued for the start of an album. This is more like a cool down moment on the back end of a full-length record. Not to mention the song features one of Caroline's most underwhelming vocal performances too. And the song New Normal. The beat on this instrumental just sounds like a cheap attempt at working some foreign flavors and rhythms into the record that didn't really need to be there, especially since they kind of clash with the strange country fried guitars that pop in here and there, just sliding in with a touch of distortion. I think the record continues to get better from here though. The song Hit Me Where It Hurts is a really effective attempt at working some glamorous R&B into the project. Caroline and Wyatt put their own weirdly minimal spin on it. I love these soaring vocals and rich chords on the hook. I like how disjointed and sparse the beat is behind the verses. There are also hits of background vocals at some points on the track too that almost feel like ad-libs. It's really like I'm listening to deconstructed R&B. The song I Give Up features more solid tune writing as well as very fractured, sparse rhythms. The vocals on this one are raw, very naked, but so angelic. And how bare the verses are just makes the choruses feel even more euphoric with that rush of background vocals and bass when it finally hits. Now, look, all of this is good so far. We have some momentum going in the track list. Caroline's vocals are sounding great, well executed, expressive, mature, but something you should anticipate with this record is that the whole thing is very, very, very low-key. Very moody too. This is not a snappy pop record, which is something some people might have assumed going into this project given some singles like So Hot You're Hurting My Feelings. The vibe of the track is pretty smooth, but it's honestly the most high-octane moment on the entire record. So if the shiny synth chords and lightly distorted guitars in the background of this one are not enough oomph for you, you might not dig on this one. I don't really see the lack of fireworks on this record as entirely a bad thing though, especially given how gorgeous and enchanting nearly every song here is. You have the dreamy and acoustic Look At Me Now, the vocals really sell this one. It's so elegant, and elements of it remind me of breezier, janglier, more euphoric cuts from the Cocteau Twins discography. Meanwhile, the dark subterranean bass on Insomnia paired with the bright futuristic synth tones and vocal harmonies feels like taking PC music aesthetics and applying it to like an ambient pop blueprint. The song Ocean of Tears was a great single in the lead up to this record. I still love hearing it in the midst of this record, and the more that I listen to it, I swear to God, there are elements of this track aesthetically that kind of remind me of Travis Scott's 90210 off of Rodeo. It's the atmosphere, it's the small hits of auto-tuned ad-libs in the background, it's the singing that sometimes reminds me of Casey Hills. It's also the punchy beat. While again, I do think there are some aesthetic similarities, the tune is vastly different. Very heady, but very catchy, which is par the course for most of the tracks on this record. While this is certainly a pop album, it's structured like a pop album, it is hooky like a pop album, there's something about the mood, the tone, the vibe of the whole thing that just comes off very cerebral. The beautiful songs in the track list keep rolling with Hey Big Eyes, also Go As a Dream, although I don't know how much I care for the intro on this track, which in pure PC music fashion is auto-tuned, sounds alien, almost as if a cyborg or an AI is singing the song. And I think that's something that works with most artists who work with Danny, work with Cook, work with even Sophie, and are deeply embracing all of these futurist sounds and visuals. But for the most part, it makes this track stick out like a sore thumb, not in a great way, because a lot of the songs up until this point feel pretty organic, at least vocally. One thing I do want to point out is some of the background vocals on the song, the ha 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 ha, which I see as a very conscious Laurie Anderson shout out. Appreciate that. I think the song Caroline Shut Up sticks out for much better reasons though. There's quite a bit of swagger on this track vocally, even though the song is about expressing doubt in the realm of love and wanting to quell that. So Caroline sings to herself when she's filling her head with these ideas, Caroline, shut up. The track is in 3/4, and I think it does a great job of taking the stereotypical blueprint of an old school, spacious, waltzy type of ballad with lots of drama and applying some modern synthetic elements to it. The songs Door and Parachute make sure the entire album ends off on a really strong note. Back in the city, I'm just another girl in a sweater. And yeah, Pang is just another great, forward-thinking, quality-produced, and super catchy, thoughtful pop record in 2019. Granted, it's not the most innovative or consistent record in this style that I've heard this year, and I think the track list mostly runs like a bunch of disjointed ideas, not really any overall themes or concepts on this thing, at least to my ears, though a lot of the tracks do seem to center around love, personal connections, and emotions. And as I mentioned earlier, I think the album's initial moments are not quite as strong as the album's final moments, but a vast majority of these tracks, these 14 tracks, are pure fire. And I can only hope that Caroline's efforts from here grow more ambitious, thematic, as well as focused. Although I can't say I'm complaining too much right now because as is, this is really great. Feeling a light to decent 8 on this one. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Caroline Polachek, forever.